and share it with the team. Okay, so congratulations, M2. I want to tell you that. It was super cool watching you go 80K. It gives me goosebumps because I'll never forget when she went 40K and she was like, I'm going for 80. And I will never tell a friend or a leader like, okay, but I mean, I felt like, okay, you go on with your bad self, because that was a feat. And I think that's so important for people to know, that it wasn't like she's like, okay, next in line. And I think that that's what I want to know about, my team wants to know about. So if we can start there, that'd be awesome. Just like, I know I talked to Em and she's like, well, I'm going to do it. Like, we're going to turn up the heat, but I'm going to do it. And I'm like, okay, like, and I like took my breath away. So Em, talk to us about how did you create that sense of urgency and just the momentum. I mean, I know you had momentum, but what you did at the end of the month was insane.
So I think that momentum, it starts in your mind, is the biggest thing. And like she said, I have not allowed myself to stop. I've not allowed myself to slow down. And, you know, even how Dustin's told us, you know, I celebrated my win when I went 40K for like 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. You have to, in your head, commit to yourself what you want to do. And like, don't take any less than that. And it starts in your head. If you don't have that mindset, if you don't know in your head that you're willing to do whatever you have to do to get there, you're not going to be able to accomplish it. I say it all the time to my team. You have to speak it out loud. And you guys can make fun of me. I literally have my agenda right here. I'll show you. Because of course there are times when I doubted myself and I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I'm scared, but you can't stay in that headspace. I had to pull myself out of it and just say, you know, I trust in this process. I was put here for a reason. And I know if I just put in that footwork and I grind, it will come as long as I put the work in. And, you know, I speak my goals out loud, and I have a bad mouth, but like in my calendar on the 30th of November, it said I am effing 80K. Okay. Because I had to speak it to myself that that's what I was. So you have to speak it out loud. And I know I have a potty mouth, guys. I'm sorry.
You know this.
But you have to commit that to yourself. So if your head isn't there, that's why we always say the self-development is so important. Investing in yourself is so important because you have to be in the right headspace. You can't attack a plan. You can't go after something unless you know that you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. So for me, it was dedicating to myself that I was going to do it. You know, dedicating to myself that I was going to have to make sacrifices. You know, I was going to have to stay up later and wake up earlier and not do the things I wanted. Not that I want you to not live your life or take away from your family time and stuff, but you make these sacrifices now so that you can have whatever you want later. You know, so I had to make those sacrifices, and I poured into myself, I poured into my team, and I just didn't stop. You know, put your head down, do those income producing activities. And once you're committed it to yourself, it will happen if you put that work in and you believe in it. You know, I said, I am 80K. That's what I am. I will not leave the month not being 80K. I posted about it on my Facebook. I put it in my group chat. I told Courtney, I told Dustin, I was like, I can't leave the month and not go 80K now. Because like I told everybody I was going 80K. So it's really just putting in that footwork and then not slowing down. You don't take a day off. You know, I don't care if you're busy. I said to Courtney today, I went out last night. Okay. I'm a homebody. I don't go out anymore. And today I was not feeling so great. Okay. I was having a really hard time, but I still didn't take the day off. You know, you still have to put in that effort, and those small sacrifices is what adds up. And that's what like rewards you. You know, when you decide to stay up an hour later or to not go out and do this, or to make sure that every single day you're pouring into your business, that's when the success will come. So it's just getting your head straight and running and then not stopping. You know, don't slow down. Don't stop the momentum, because like we always say, it is so hard to get back, but you got to hold on to it and run.
Do you ever take a day off, Em?
No.
Okay.
I have not taken a day off of posting on my social media in probably 2 full years now.
I think that that's really, no, I mean, that's great. That's me too. I mean, I think that that's important for people to know, because the day you take a day off is the day somebody needs you, or the day you miss closing, or I don't ever take a day off. I'm like you, like I may go out or I may do something and I may take some time, but I never close my business's doors. You can't. You cannot in this industry, because somebody else's doors are open and somebody else is posting on. I mean, think about like just how many people are on social media. You're going to see some sort of MLM post every day, multiple ones on your social media. And if you're not posting and you take the day off, somebody else is. So I'm not saying that towards you. I'm saying it just in general.
No, exactly. I tell my team that all the time. You know, they'll be like, okay, well, I haven't signed somebody or I haven't done this. Like, can you tell me what's wrong? And I go to their page and they haven't posted in 2 days. And I was like, how am I going to go buy dog food from Target if Target's not open? You know, I was like, I'm going to go to Walmart. Like, so they're going to find somebody else. You can't run a business if your doors are closed. And for us being closed is us not posting. Yeah, more goes into it. You have to work your business. You have to build relationships and follow-ups and all of that. But posting is the main thing. You have to get those posts out every single day.
This says, how do you keep your account from being saturated with posting about the product? I think I'll answer that, and then if you want to add in, I think for me personally, my goal, which I don't meet it every day, I usually exceed it. I've learned to not overpost. Sometimes I still do. But if you think about every day, people want to be told, like, good morning, like, think about you. You know, they want to be inspired. They're starting their day off. Hopefully they wake up on the, right side of the bed. Then come lunchtime, I try to post something about the product. Never a graphic. If it was made with a computer, don't post it. And I'm going to start calling y'all out. I'm going to screenshot it and put a circle and a line through it and send it to you. And that's all I'm going to say. Because it's spam. And not only does it look like crap, but Facebook flags it. Sorry. I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute. But if it was made with a computer and there's not a person or a real life picture, do not post it. Please, for the love of Jesus, okay? So I try to post something about the product. So whether it's a picture and my DFT's on, or it's just like I've done X, Y, and Z today, or Em likes to post when she's in the bath, and I'm like, I love your bathtub, damn it. Like, different things, because she's my friend, and I'm like, dang, that's a nice bathtub. And I'm like, oh, I like her Black Label. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm already in this business. Like, she could sell someone already in this business. Think about that when you post. That's how I slip in a product post. Sometimes I do a before and after because I do have great results, but it doesn't have to be that. Em doesn't post before and after. She's already tiny. Like, just think about how can you create that emotion in someone that they need what we have, whether it's energy. Energy, honestly, in weight loss is huge. Energy is number one with girls, college girls, moms, guys, anybody, but really like moms, college girls. I know, there are a lot of girls on here. And then at the end of the day, they've either been at a job that they hate all day, they're stuck in traffic. I try to post something about my life. Like, even if it's doing homework with my children, it has nothing to do with Thrive, right? But that's something that Thrive allows me to do, allows me to be a part of. So it should never be a blatant message, like an ad. It should be, this is what Thrive has created in my life, and letting people take a peek inside of that. That's so critical. Don't become an ad. And I think you post very similar.
Yeah, I talked about this. We did a newbie training just like an hour ago. Me and Katie were talking about this, where if you're on your Facebook, and you have control over your account. If you don't want to overpost it, don't overpost it. You have to get in that mindset that you control this. You put out what you want to. But I asked them on the Zoom, I was like, if you see me, like she said, if I'm in a bubble bath or whatever, and you see the Black Label on my path, and I say how I haven't had coffee in 15 days, or how like it changed my life, just something super simple. And you see somebody else post and it's a graphic of the 1, 2, 3, who do you think they're going to message? You know what I mean? You have to make that connection. You have to be you. If you're posting a graphic, that doesn't do anything for them. They, like we always say, they invest in you, not Thrive. Like, yes, they're buying the product, but they're buying you. So you have to put yourself out there. If you're posting a pre-made graphic or, something off of Pinterest like that, that has no emotion behind it. Nobody's going to connect to that. People connect to me because of what I said. People are like, okay, well, what should I do for a product post? I don't even call mine product posts because I don't ever, say like, hey, you need to buy this, or hey, I can give you this, or I never say that. I just say what it's done for me. I say how I haven't had coffee. I slip it in that way. Not that I'm trying to sell anyone. I say something and people relate to it. So that's key with that.
Yeah, I love that. That's critical. That people buy you, not Thrive. period. They're going to make a connection to you first, because they've got to trust you. Nobody gets online to be sold to. Nobody does. They get online to be nosy, to make connections. You definitely can make money online, obviously, but people don't get online to be sold to. Will you talk about sealing the deal and closing?
Absolutely. Okay, so for me, I get this question all the time, and my biggest tip is that I always assume the sale. Always. So I put value on the product and I assume the sale. So when I'm talking to somebody, especially because we are not cold messaging, I'm not going after them. They came to me in the first place. I know they're interested, and I know that people get busy, and I think we all get like offended when people don't answer us. And yeah, it sucks when people don't answer us. But what I always tell my team is that this is our job. It's not their job. So I can literally, I do it to my own mom. She'll text me, I'll put my phone down, and 4 days later, she's like, should I send the police? Like, are you alive? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You have to remember that people have lives. They're going to forget to respond, or they're going to read something and maybe they don't feel like answering right now. And that's okay. So don't ever get offended when somebody doesn't answer. You can still follow up. When I initially talk to somebody, I always make sure to continue that conversation. So whether I'm checking in the next day or 2 days later, that's what I do with the first contact, just to, make sure that the conversation still goes. And one of my big tips with that is don't always make it about the product. If one of my girls is like, hey, I've followed up with this girl 2 times and she hasn't responded, what should I say? And I'm like, take it away from Thrive. Bring it back to something personal to make it about your relationship with them again, so that they don't feel pressured. And, half the time they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't realize I didn't answer. But you have to make it personal again. So that's a big thing. I follow up, like I said, about 2 days afterwards. And then of course, every single Friday, because Fridays are huge for us, but you have to assume the sale. I do everything in voice messaging, and I don't overthink it. I don't send a script. I don't, send a specific message to everyone. I look at the conversation of what we were talking about, and I follow up that way. If they were talking about that they wanted to lose weight for Christmas, or they want to do this, I'm like, hey, I know you said such and such, are you ready? Like, let's get your order placed right now. I assume the sale. I think in my head that they're going to sign up, and that's the whole thing. Speaking it out loud, that's what's going to happen then. So be authentic with yourself. People can tell if you're copying and pasting the same message to 10 different people. Just talk like you're you. Voice message them, ask them how they're doing, still make it personal, and follow up. And one of my big things is I voice message a lot, and this is just one of my tricks. So if I send a voice message and they read it and they don't answer, my next follow-up will be like, hey, just let me know when you get a chance to listen to that. Or like, hey, is my messenger working? Like, could you listen to that? Like, I'll say something like that just to get the conversation going again. So that's how I normally do it. But every single Friday, I am following up.
I always say that too. I always say, could you hear that?
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes maybe they couldn't, but then they're like, oh yeah. I always do that.
Yeah, you just have to spark it in their head, like remind them, and then they normally, and this isn't to make them feel bad, but sometimes be like, oh crap, I didn't answer them, and then they'll want to keep the conversation going from there.
That's funny you say that too about your mom, because I'm like, I don't not answer you, but by the time I check my phone, it's like pushed so far down that I'm like, double text me. Don't be afraid to double text your potentials.
Yeah, and what I always say too is, like, for me, I've needed to go to Target for like the past 4 days. I still have not made it to Target. People, even if it doesn't mean they don't want it, just life happens. Stuff gets in the way. They're going to do it in their time. And that's another big thing. Respect people's time. If they say, hey, I need to wait until such and such, or hey, I'm not quite ready. Yes, always give them the other options. Say that they don't have to do a full pack, or explain their refer to program, stuff like that. But if it's not their time, that's okay. Be their friend. Say that whenever you are ready, like, you're there for them, and then just continue the relationship, and they will come to you the second that they're ready.
And whenever somebody says, if they're like talking to you about being a promoter, and they say, well, I don't have any money, what do you say?
That's why you need to join.
Okay, and what if they're like, okay, I agree, but I don't have any money. I don't have any money.
I say to them, then let's find a way to get you money. Like, I will personally work with them, because if it's at that point, I know them. I know what they're struggling with. I know why they need the money. And you have to put the value on what this is going to do for them. Or the people that are like, oh, I want to wait until after Christmas. I'm like, you could have an $800 bonus before Christmas. You're like, why wait? So figure it out with them. If they need money, okay, what around your house can we sell? You know, for me, like you can push off, you can postpone a payment, like whatever you have to do, you have to put the value on that's exactly why you need to start. That needs to motivate you, not stall you from starting.
I love that because like I just kept at you right now and not once did you go, oh, just sign up for free. And no, my volume's all the way up. Sorry, Jordan. I don't know why my volume's all the way up. Maybe it's because I'm far away from my computer. Let me scoot up to it. I think that's so critical because I see girls that are bringing in girls by the masses on free accounts, and it's more worth your while to try to work with them to figure out how to get on the product than to put them in on a free account.
Yeah, because that's not putting value on them. I feel like if I'm offering a free account to somebody, which I don't ever do, that it's like Voldemort to me. Like I don't say that word. I don't say free account. But for me, that's me not being a good leader because that's not setting them up properly. You know, there's not a way for them. Yeah, of course. I mean, it can happen with chances, and if they need it and they'll make it work, that's great. But I don't ever offer that because I need them to know the value in this. And if I'm saying you can sign up for free, they're not going to put what they need to in it. They're not on the products. They're not going to have that passion. It doesn't help them. And I'm here to help them. So by me offering them a free account, that doesn't do anything for them at all.
I love that. I love that. I'm sorry. I know people are saying my volume's low. I don't know. I don't know what to say because mine's turned all the way up. So I don't know. Okay, what about, we talked to me about, which I already know what you're going to say, but when people give you the excuse that it's Christmas, like as a customer, well, it's Christmas. What do you say to that?
That's the reason why. And for me, honestly, and this helped me a lot with around Black Friday, don't tell me that it's Christmas when I know that you just went out and bought the stupidest stuff on Black Friday. You know what I mean? It's all about adding value to your business, to the products. If you're tight on money, you're always going to be tight on money. But if you put that value on the products, on the business for them, it doesn't matter. Don't make it your excuse, make it your why, because it is Christmas, because you want to be able to go out and pay cash for your kids' Christmas presents, or you want to look bomb on Christmas when you see your family. You know, that is your why. Don't make that your excuse.
So do you spend a lot of time, and I'm asking this sincerely, do you spend a lot of time like going back and forth with people and their excuses if they keep giving them to you, or do you just say, you know what, I don't think you're ready then, and do you move along?
Yeah, a really big thing, and I had to learn this, it took me a long time to learn this, is I have to respect my own time also, and I need to pour in those that are not only respecting my time, but want this, because you know, that one person, I know that like they don't want excuses, they don't want to have those problems, but I need somebody that wants it bad enough where it's not an excuse, but it motivates them. So yeah, like I will give them that time, but I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm going to say, okay, you know, when you're ready, then I'm here. But right now, like my time has to be spent elsewhere. You know, I can't disrespect my time, because if you want this bad enough, me and you will figure it out. But if you're not putting that effort in, I can't sit there and have somebody give me excuse after excuse, because the next person that I'm not speaking to because I'm in that conversation needs this 10 times more than they do then.
I love that. I love that. You know, I see a lot of girls, and I've talked a lot to my team about not sitting with the people on the fence, because if they're not ready to get up themselves, they'll never be ready to work. Even if you get them in the computer, they're not ready. You've pulled them, you've drug them in. We need people that are chasing us, going, what in the hell are y'all doing? How are y'all making this money? Going, like tapping them on the shoulder, going, hey, I want in. Those are the people we want to run with. The other people, they're not ready. Even if you can get someone in the computer and beg and get their social, not that we need it here, but you know, like that doesn't mean they're ready. We shouldn't be begging anybody to sign up with us. One of mine, me and Em were talking earlier, and one of my things that I always say now is, and I don't mean this rude, but the way our company's structured, like I don't need anybody else on my team to go to the top. There's not a box. I don't need another strike. I don't know what to call it without calling it that, but I don't need another little group, another little team. There's not missing boxes, right? I can go to the top with who I have. Yes, we want to be bringing in new people, but we don't want to make people feel like we need them. We want them to feel like they need us. they do need this business for themselves. If they never feel that way, they'll never work it. So I'll tell them, I'll say, I'm not here to beg you to join. I don't need another teammate in order for my next promotion. I'm going to hit it with or without you. I'd love for you to experience the freedom, the health, whatever it may be, but I'm going to the top, like with or without you. I'd love for you to come, but if not, bye. And I don't mean that rude, but I think that has to be our mentality because we are all growing and running so fast. We can't spend our days like with people that don't want it.
And that's the same thing that I say when people get, discouraged or upset. And I hate the word discouraged. That's like my no word. But when people are like frustrated when one person says no to them, everything is not for everyone. Everyone has their time. But when you're focusing on that no, or you're getting in your head about that, just like I said, there's 5 people behind that no that are a yes. But you're not getting to them if you're stuck here. So you have to let it roll off. You have to let it be their own time. And if somebody wants this, like we know what we have our hands on. We know that. We have the value on it. They have to put the value too for them to see the success, for them to feel exactly what we feel. And those are the people that you have to focus
on. What about sample packs? Or do you want to answer some questions in the chat?
Yes, we can do it.
Having a hard time getting anyone to want to buy sample packs, especially because I started Thursday and my box won't get here until Thursday. I would say your friends and family will never make you money, period. So you've got to accept that, right now. And Em and me talked about this earlier. What is your number one thing we were talking about? Do you remember? You were saying, I'm going to quote you. You said, then your market sucks. And I think that hits the nail on the head. If you are not selling and you're not signing people, Em said it earlier to me. She's like, your market sucks. Then you need to go and build new following. Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. And I'll touch on super quick, Jessica, just to say that once you are on the products, that's going to answer a lot of those questions for you. When you feel it and you have that passion and you have them on hand, that's going to change a lot of that. And, people are going to want the sample packs because they're going to see how you feel and the value that you're putting on it, if that makes sense. But yeah, what Courtney was saying is that if you feel like no one that's around you wants this, or no one wants the business or the products, you don't have the right people in front of you. And this is something that Travis even taught me when I was where I was before I came here, is that you have to put value on the people that you're surrounding yourself by. Like you have to have people that match you. And that's why we say when you build those relationships, you need to find people that are like you, because that's who you're going to connect to. If you're getting no's from everyone around and you're not seeing any, momentum happen, you're not putting this in front of the right people. You're not putting this in front of the people who need this. If your Facebook newsfeed is filled with like trash, you got to delete them, and you have to bring people in that you can relate to, that are like you, that are going to want the same things as you, that are going to put value on what you're doing. So you need to edit your market. You need to bring in the right kind of people. You can't, what's that saying? Like you can't sell something to someone. Like you need the right people in front of you. And if you're not, you need to be constantly adding to your network all the time, but you have to have the right people, do a Facebook detox, the negativity, all that stuff, get those people off. You don't need to see that either for yourself, but that's not going to grow your business. You need to have the right people in front of you, because people need these products and people need this business. And if people in front of you don't need it, get new people in front of you.
I love that. That's something I even still have to do as a leader. I'm sure you do. At nighttime, will get on my computer and I'll just start deleting people. And I even told Dustin this today. I said, I am deleting every single person off of my Facebook that's not a friend, a teammate, or somebody that I want on my team. Like we were taught before to mass add people, now I'm like, why is this person on my Facebook? Like somebody else could be there, someone else could be popping up in my newsfeed. So mass delete. Yeah. If someone's popping up in your newsfeed and you don't know them, they're not a family friend, like for real, like in person, and you don't want them on your team, then get them off your Facebook and put them with someone of value. I love that. Do you have any questions you want me to answer? Sorry, I've been like.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to answer the one other one. I want you to answer this too. Do you keep a follow-up list?
No.
You don't?
I don't. I'm being honest. I don't. Here's what I do. Okay. somebody's got to give me a reason to follow up with them. So I don't have a follow-up list, but I use my phone. And so if somebody is not a potential to me, if there's not, if they're not giving me something to follow up with, like if they're like, no, I'm good, if they're a follow-up or a potential for me, if they're like, hey, I don't have the money now, well, when will you have it? Then I'll put in my phone, like, I don't want her to go off, but I'll say like, hey Siri, remind me on December 15th to message M Hastings at 9 in the morning. And that's how I follow up. But I don't waste time chasing people. And I think some people get confused with a hundreds list and a follow-up list. People earn a spot because that's your time. Following somebody around is not following up with them. So I just put them in my phone if they give me a reason to follow up.
Okay.
How do you do it?
So for me, I'm the same way where it's not that, like when I do my follow-ups on Friday, if I'm following up with somebody, it's not just somebody that I've had like a blase conversation with. Like it was set where they, like I have explained everything to them. We've talked about it. They know the comp plan. Like they know that, like I know what they want. We're just waiting for them to get to the day that they need to get to. So that's who's on mine. I mean, I have a list just because I'm forgetful, but it's a piece of printer paper that's only half filled out on one side. So I don't have a million people. It's people that, like I talked about, valuable, you know, that I know want this, that we've talked about it, that we're waiting for. So I write down names just because my messenger gets crazy, but I'm not following up with everyone. You know, if somebody says one time like, hey, I want info, and I give them stuff and they never respond and like nothing comes from it, I'm not going to continue to follow up with them. You know, you have to respect your time with that. So it's like halfway follow-up list, I guess I would call it.
I mean, yeah, I love that because they have to give you something to follow up with. If they want this, if not, we are chasing people and getting them in the computer and your check will not grow.
Yeah.
At all.
I wanted to ask you about, what else did we talk about? Oh, about team chats.
Okay. So I have a team chat and I'm just going to be honest. Like I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of utilizing the team chat. Em and I talked a little bit about this earlier. You should not utilize the team chat for somebody else to go look something up for you. You should not utilize the team chat as, what was that called on AOL, where you'd go into chat rooms and hang out. That's not what that's for. There's no sales there. Em said earlier, if her and I are talking all day, like we talk and we have a good relationship and we talk when we need to and we bounce ideas off of each other. But guess what? She's never going to be on my team. I'm never going to be on hers. So that's not where we spend all of our time. If you're spending the majority of your time talking to your leader, talking to your team, you're not growing your check. Get out of the chats. Like, don't leave them. But like, if you're like, hey, can somebody tell me blah, 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 versus, hey, I've looked everywhere, I can't figure this out, or, hey, does anyone have experience with somebody that has, that's what those are for. I'm also going to say this, that is not a place to air your frustrations. You need to do that with your leader because somebody else is watching. We are a group of dynamic people, and whenever you have positivity and negativity, they both can catch fire. You should never put anything in a group chat that is even a little bit negative because someone could be having a worse day than you and then it's a domino effect. Doesn't mean you can't have a bad day. Doesn't mean you can't be frustrated. There are times I'm frustrated. There are times M's frustrated. I've called Dustin crying and 10 minutes later called him crying again because my paycheck was big. Like we all go through those roller coaster of emotions. It's network marketing. But if you put that in a chat and you write it down, I always say replace your 20 minutes of self-doubt with 20 minutes of self-development, okay? It is so critical to do that. So in those chats, keep them positive. Keep them, I always say clutter-free. Like, I don't want to know recipes. I don't want to know a cute meme. That is not what they're there for. Em even told me this today that she mutes hers until a certain time during the day and then she checks them. And I was like, that's a great idea because at the end of the day, we're all business owners, not babysitters. And so utilize those appropriately, please. I don't ever mind. There are times where I may be getting on an airplane. Or the other day I was getting my hair done and I literally could not get an enrollment to work. And so Katia enrolled somebody, got on her computer, enrolled them for me. Yes, that's an appropriate time to use somebody to do something that you can do, right? But not because you're lazy in a group chat saying, hey, can someone tell me if this has gluten in it? Or can somebody, and I don't say that rude, I say that because we would be breeding an environment where people are then going and looking up stuff and chit-chatting and not working. We want to create like independence and empower each other. So please keep those clutter-free and keep them positive. They're for celebrations and when you really can't find something.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what I tell all my girls, to have it muted. You know, and something that is so huge for me is the team environment in this, and how close everyone is and how loving we are and the support. And it is amazing, you know, and I don't discredit that whatsoever. And I would never want to take away from that, because so many of us have found a home and a second chance where we're finally comfortable, you know, when we're being cheered on and we're being empowered. And that's awesome, but you can't live in that chat. You know, because like I always tell people is I can't sign up to be your customer. I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could help you, but I can't do that. I can mentor you and lead you, but you can't spend all day. So I tell everyone to have it muted. And, you know, it's fine. Check in a couple times a day when you have a minute, but don't stay there. You know, if you have a specific question that you can't figure out, yeah, ask it. We'll help you out. We're there for support, but don't live in there. You know, spend that time talking to potentials, talking to people, and that's what's going to grow your business. And what I always say too, and I talked to Courtney about this earlier, is one of the hardest things for me, and what I'm trying to like retrain people's brains with, is if you feel like you're struggling, or you feel like, you know, you're not enrolling at the rate you want to, or you feel like something isn't working for you, don't say, you know, this isn't working. Don't come to me with that. Come to me with, hey, I feel this way. Tell me what I can change. You know what? I'm going to ask you, what is on your 6 list? What are you doing every day? I'll check out your Facebook to tell you what we can alter. Come to me and ask for help with a plan, not a frustrating, you know, this isn't working. I don't know what to do. Nobody wants this. Because that's not okay for me. You know, say, what can I do differently? What can you help me with? And that's when I'll be able as a leader to help you. You know, but don't come in with, you know, this just isn't working. Be proactive with what you're struggling with. I said it's okay to have a bad day. We all do. Don't live there. Don't live in the chats. Don't live in that negativity. Be there for the empowerment, the support if you need help. But talk to other people. And I promise you, if you will change that and you'll spend that time talking to potentials, your business will explode.
Yeah, I think that's so critical. Okay, do you have any other questions? I can't remember if we talked about any more for me.
I feel like that is all we specifically talked about. Trying to make sure we didn't miss any over here. Hold on. That's what we talked about earlier. Does anybody have any other questions for us? Super quick.
I'm reading too.
Okay.
Through here. I know my team was asking, like, and we talked a little bit earlier about it being Christmas, but I think that that's also a mindset of us too. We cannot go ahead and like assume that people don't want this because it's Christmas, or they can't afford it because it's Christmas, because you can flip it right around and say the opposite. Well, I know a ton of girls that are getting money for Christmas. I know teachers that are off work that could launch their business during Christmas. Like, I think you can go both ways with it. And so just getting it right in your head is super, super important. Whenever you're thinking about any time of year, I mean, you could help somebody come up with an excuse no matter what time of year it is. So Evan and I were talking earlier just about volume and stuff, and we're like, God, we're so hard on ourselves because yeah, it is December. Yeah, we are killing it, you know, but we always are just forward focused and we don't make excuses at all. Can you give a few examples of what you think the most work? I can share my 6 list with you, but I think that it's going to change based upon where you are in your business, because my 6 list, hold on. is like, I was meeting with a lady this morning and it just didn't really make sense to her, some of the things, because she wasn't there yet. Hold on a second. Sharon, I can resend it in the group chat, the 6 list. Mine, but like I said, everyone's is different. I think the main thing about your list is that you have one, that you have a plan, not really what's on it. I can give you some ideas, M can give you some, but it's just that you have a plan before you wake up the next day to know what you're doing. I do 3 quality posts a day. I read for 20 minutes. I go on my Instagram and I accept anyone. I comment 20 to 30 minutes. I like to respond to people's stories, because if they're posting on their story, they want attention, right? Like, nobody posts on their story because, I mean, we do because we want people to comment. So if they're putting it on their story, they want attention. They want feedback. I convert 10 people from Instagram to Facebook. A lot of people ask me how I do that. It's so easy. I'll say something like, half the time it's genuine, half the time there's a motive. I'm just being honest. I mean, we're sales. That's what we do. It may legit be, hey, have you ever thought about promoting on social media? And they'll say yes or no, whatever. And I'm like, hey, add me on Facebook so I can send you a voice memo. I don't say, hey, have you ever thought about joining my team? Hey, I have 1 spot left. Nothing like that. It's sincere. Like, have you ever thought about promoting? Your Instagram rocks. To me, that's not a cold message. I'm not, asking you to come and take the last VIP spot and cut and pasting it to everybody. And then I wish everyone a happy birthday. That doesn't make sense to some people that don't have a big following or they don't have a lot of friends on Facebook. But for me, it makes sense because there's like 10 to 20 people that have a birthday every day. So that's what I do. And then 10 sincere messages. Like, today, this girl, I saw she has a boutique, and I'm like, hey, can you give me the link to your boutique? Your clothes are super cute. What's the boutique you own? I know she used to be with It Works. I know, sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud, but whatevs. Like, I know she was in the industry. Like, I know she gets this, and now she's trying to sell clothes online. So I'm smart with who I'm messaging, but I'm not like, hey, I know you used to be in this industry. I know you used to do something else. Do you want to chat about my team? No, because her clothes are cute and I do run to look at her boutique, and now she's going to start watching me. That's my method.
Super quick, I just want to answer this question that popped up about having people from Lavelle on your Facebook. So if you are on your newsfeed and it is your team or your sidelines is everything on your newsfeed, they can't become your customers. They cannot become your team members. And that's my biggest thing is, at this point, I can't add anyone anyways because I'm maxed out. But if I am friends with anyone, even with Courtney, I'm friends with her on Facebook, but I don't follow her on Facebook. So when I go and like her posts, I have to type her name and go to her thing to show her love, but she's not on my newsfeed. So anyone that you're friends with, unfollow them because that's not who needs to be on your newsfeed. It needs to be the people that you can build relationships with and work with. So if it's all people in Lavelle, that's probably why other people aren't seeing your posts, because who you're seeing is who is seeing your stuff too, if that makes sense. So clear that out. Unfollow anyone that is on your team or, sidelines it. It's fine to be friends with them. I want to show you guys love. I want to be able to, see your stuff, but it can't be on my newsfeed because you can't buy products from me. So that's a big thing, is to make sure you have your newsfeed cleared out from that. I'm trying to read this question. So unfollow all your team or just majority. I personally do not follow anyone that is in Lavelle at all. So I'm friends with all you guys, and I'll go to your page to like your stuff, but no one's on my newsfeed that's in Lavelle. So that helps me. I don't know if you do the same.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. If you add me and you're not on my team, I don't accept it because I'm maxed out on my friends list, and you can't be on my team. You can follow me. I love to inspire. I mean, there are girls that I'll even message like good job that aren't on my team, and we're not friends on Facebook. It's not because I don't like people. It's just they're not potentials, and that's where my business is ran, and I'm maxed out. Em and I are friends. I mean, but we bounce ideas off of each other. We brainstorm. But I don't just go and accept every single friend request from Thrive. I can't. Like, I'm not going to make any money doing that. Another girl asked, which this is a good question for you. Where do you find people? Because I love to find people on Instagram and get them on Facebook. Where do you find new people on Facebook? Or do you?
So I do find people. A lot of it, I'll be honest, has come from people following me just because I do a lot of live videos and I make people share them. So then people on their newsfeed are seeing me and coming to my page. But when I'm adding people, and this is kind of hard to retrain our brains because before I never wanted anyone in network marketing on my newsfeed. So I would stay out of my suggested friends list because it was like a feeding ground for everyone who was in other companies. Now I want those people on my newsfeed. You know what I mean? Like that is a lot of where it's a second chance for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people felt exactly the way I did, and that's how I connected, and that's how I built those relationships. So for me, it'll pop up people there. I don't have like a specific way. I used to do groups and stuff. Like I was in makeup groups, but a lot of that is where a lot of the negativity on my newsfeed came from. And I was like, okay, like these aren't like the right kind of people that I can build relationships with. So it has to be for you, you know, where you're finding them, whether it's through mutual friends, whether it's through your suggested friends list, you know, whether you are just going, like, I guess that's the biggest thing is mutual friends that you're friends with, or, you know, even going on Instagram and finding them that way, like Courtney said, she converts them. But just make it organic, you know, don't mass add people, just try to find people, you know, that you do have friends in common with, or that, you know, follow you that way. That's, I guess, my biggest way that I do it.
Yeah, I think that's so important because so much of us used to, we were taught to mass add. And now it's totally different. Like you don't want that. You want to be picky. I think that's another thing that we can talk about. We can end it with is quality in who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's like your mind's a little different now? Like since this is your reset, your mind's different. I know we talked a little bit about like, if people aren't ready, we're not going to beg them. But I mean, do you feel like the people you're looking at and looking to talk to and build a relationship with, that it's different?
It's completely different. And a lot of that is simply because of the way that I'm running my business now in a way that I never did. You know, for once in my life, I am able to be authentic. And that alone helps so much because I can actually relate to people because I'm being myself. And that's just how I am. And this is what I always say when, you know, my team is like, okay, well, I don't know what to post or I don't know what to say. And I'm like, you have to be you. And I know that it's difficult to get over that hump where you can just be yourself and like get in that groove of being authentic and posting on your own. But if you can get there and you can work on that, that's going to change everything. And, you know, I'll always say if it's a girl on my team that's never met me, I'm like, okay, if I asked you to list off 10 things about me, could you do it right now? And they're like, yeah. You know, they talk about my dogs or I love wine. Like, you know things about me because that's how I post. So for me, that's allowing me to have genuine connections with people because I'm actually being authentic for once. And I'm not, you know, messaging 100 people a day. And I'll go back in my inbox now of people that are messaging me. And my last message to them, I literally want to cringe because of course they never responded because no, they didn't want to be my product model. But you have to like have the genuine relationships. So those people are going to start coming to you, which is huge with building. But like I said, respect your time. You know who your kind of people are. You know who, and it's not saying that, you know, something's wrong with that person, but you have to have that relationship. And if they are super negative or you know that it's not their time and they don't want it, you feel like you're trying to make somebody want something, don't have that conversation. You know, the people that are going to be drawn to you to have real relationships, it's going to happen naturally. You know, let it happen. Be you. Don't be a script. Don't be a copy and paste post. And that's going to help you so much with who you're talking to, who you're getting in front of. And then things like your network, it does start to grow organically. You know, people will start to add you because they're vibing with who you are also. So I guess that's my thing on that.
Yeah. So someone said, do you share stories, Thrive stories from the Facebook page? Never. And I'm going to give you a perfect example why. There's a girl on my team that somebody else had sent her to someone else had shared my story from Lavelle, and now she's on my team. So I never, ever, ever share anything, period, ever. If it's even like a before and after that I post and you want to share it, hear me now. Do not message me. Can you post it? Yes, you can post it. I get that every day. I don't care. Do not share what I've done because guess what? Someone's going to click on that and it's going to take them right back to me. Take the picture and save it. Even like me or anyone else's results, even if it's a story. like on the Lavelle page that you like, cut and paste the words, take the image. But I'm going to tell you too, people are going to connect with that person. People have come and found me because other people are sharing my story. I don't mind when people do that. I don't think that it's always a negative, but you need to be very careful in how you're doing that. Because if not, like if I like one of Emma's posts and even though it's super inspiring and I share it, boom, they click on it, they're right back on her page. So you've got to be super careful with doing that.
I agree. Somebody asked, if somebody messages you about Thrive right away in your inbox, but you haven't built a relationship with them, how do you respond? Answer their questions. You know, for me, especially if I haven't talked, even if I'm just responding and they're like, hey, you know, what's that on your arm? I can answer their question, but because I'm voice messaging and they can hear my personality, that automatically creates a relationship, even if they're just asking me a question. You know, so don't feel like you have to not answer their question to build a relationship. The relationship will come. If they're messaging you, that's totally fine. You know, answer their questions, talk to them, but be you and use voice messaging. It will change your entire freaking business. That's all I do. I don't ever type. I get literally aggravated if I have to type like 5 words because I think it's the most like pain in the butt thing now that I voice message.
Someone asked, what do you do for lives? I know you and I talked about that one night, about you just talk about your life.
Yeah. So I do whatever I feel, you know, it's not, sometimes I do, you know, talk about my story or talk about what's happening. You know, yesterday morning or the day before I went live and I was going through my 3 steps. So yeah, I was talking about the products, but I was still myself. You know, I was talking about my life. I was talking about the day before. I was talking about like the Bath and Body Works sale. Like I was just being myself. So you can do that, but don't overthink it. You know, if you want to go live and talk about something you've been through, you know, something people relate to. I have so many people relate to me because I am completely transparent with my struggles. I'm completely transparent with what I've been through and, you know, what you have gone through, whether it has to do with Thrive whatsoever or not, you know, whether it's something you went through 5 years ago. Like, you know, for me, I went through a really bad breakup. People relate to that. You know, be yourself, talk about what you've gone through. And when you're transparent, that's what's going to bring people to you. You know, you can do challenges, you can do funny question and answer videos, like do anything, but just going live is going to bring so much more attraction to your Facebook page.
That's funny because I remember the night we talked and I was like, oh my God, I've never gone live about what I was going to go live about. And I did. And I got so much like authentic interaction. I made a friend, like it. Yeah. I mean, it had nothing to do with the business. And I think that that's, again, if we can drill anything into your head tonight, it's that people connect with you. They don't connect with an ad. They don't connect. If you go live every single day and it's about the product every single day. And it's so funny that you said that because I always ask my girls, when someone goes to your page, they should be able to walk away and tell you a minimum of 5 things about you from your lives, from your pictures, from your posts, whatever. If they can't, you're an ad, period. People want to know who you are. And I wanted to know. I'm like, who's Em? Like, I wanted to know all about her. I was so excited. I found out where she lived. Like, people want to know who you are. So give them enough to where they have a peek inside your life and they want more, so they keep coming back to your page.
100%. That's huge.
Let me see. You just got to get over it. I mean, I suck at lives. Getting over it, doing them is the hardest part. And once you do, now, I mean, I've gone live looking crazy. I've gone live looking made up. I mean, yeah, do it scared. Do it scared. I would much rather do this job scared than be in the middle of the mall trying to sell balloons to the kids and moms that walk by. You know, like I'll be nervous in my home behind my computer all day long. Get me up on stage and I'll faint. But I'll be nervous behind here all day long. That's all I can think of. Like, I don't want to keep everyone all night. I hope that really helped y'all. I know it helps to hear different people's perspectives, different people's stories. I think the biggest thing too is Em and I are just 2 normal girls that hustle every single day. And we're in the zone every single day. If you're not in the zone, you're somewhere else. And you gotta train your mind. Anything else?
That's all I have. I just want to say, you know, like she said, get your head straight, know what you want, and then just don't stop. You know, don't make excuses. We're working from Facebook, you know, Like, we're not doing hard labor for 14 hours a day. I know that you can do it. And I know that it takes a minute to get your groove, and we're all going to have struggles and down days. And, you know, get out of comparing and just know your goals. Say it out loud. You know, if you want to go 4K, if you want to go 12K, just say it and then do it. And it is that simple. Just put the work in, put your head down, do your 6 lists every single day, and it's going to come to you. All you have to do is work. And that's the hardest thing, I think, is realizing for yourself that you're selling yourself short. You know, you have to admit to yourself, okay, I need to stop doing that. Or, you know, I'm not putting in as much effort as I say that I'm putting in. Or, you know, I have to change these things, and that will change your business if you just put your head down and work, because that's all we do. That's it. We just work every day. That's all.
Yeah. I'll end with, if you're ever frustrated, if you're ever discouraged, know that, and you're ever compare yourself, I want you to think that me and Em have heard no 100,000 more times than you have. And we didn't think about those no's. And so when people say, well, what about this person that quit? And I'm like, if you ask me who I've signed up that's not working, I couldn't even tell you, because my mind's not there. So be forward focused with us, and just keep going. It works. I mean, this system, this simplicity, it's working, guys. You've got to believe in yourself first before anyone's going to take you seriously. So tonight, get off of here, go look in the mirror and tell yourself you're a badass. Tell yourself what goal you're going to hit this month, and then go and do it. Period. That's all you got to do. So love y'all. Thank you, Em. Thank you for your time.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.